claim to be socialists.
Yeah, that's right.
And he claims to be a pacifist.
Yeah.
You know, why don't you unite as one? And you'd make a real driving force. Like, I mean, Beauty and the Beast. I'm sure you'd like to.
And who would be whom?
Pardon?
Who would be who in this Beauty and the Beast scenario?
Well, I'm sure you can tell us.
Yeah, sure. Well, it goes without saying, really, isn't it? Yeah.
Have you heard of the Internationale?
Oh, yes.
Well, I mean,
Unites
it
the
might
human
even
race.
unite you two, eh?
No, there's a major flaw in your argument here, Michael, because although I'm a pacifist and abhor violence in all its forms, when it comes to that fat ginger-haired short arse, what I really want to do is kick his face in for him.
Well, that's not very nice, is it? I mean, we can't build a relationship on that and speaking like that.
It causes me enormous ideological problems. I mean, I lie awake at night thinking, how can I reconcile my internationalist pacifist tendency with this overwhelming desire to kick his gormless...
Yeah, I can imagine you do, yeah. As you would, of course. And, well, I mean, you both seem to have almost the same views, I mean, from what I've heard of me colleagues.
Yeah.
Who don't anymore.
No, good, fine, right.
I'd like to say some more Get Losts, please. I'd like to say Get Lost to Neil Butler, Karen Whitfield, and I'd like to say a big Get Lost to Dr. Price, and tell him that injection he gave me on Wednesday wasn't called for at all.
What, in the,
Yeah, I was just releasing a bit of frustration, I wasn't damaging the wall at all in any way.
In what part of your body do you have these injections, Michael?
It depends. Any part that can get in at the time, see.
Yeah, depending on how long they can hold you down.
Yeah, well, I'm usually friendly with these two guys, but, I mean, they're about 6 foot tall, and, once they're told by Dr. Price to get me, I mean, they won't stop me.
Right.
Anyway, it was called for. That's the thing. It wasn't called for, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, won't you?
Oh, I agree with you, yes, as long as you're at arm's length, that's fine.
I want to talk about my subject that I was talking about before, apartheid.
Yes, okay.
I want to bring up points that other people have missed. Right.
Yeah, you're going to have to be quick, though.
All right, obviously some people in South Africa are racist, but most are keeping up apartheid to defend the economy. Incidentally, if we're talking about sick things, I was reading through the Guinness Book of Records the other day, and this is in this year's, if you look towards the accidents and disasters section, I saw where 5,000 people were trampled to death in a rush for free beer in Russia.
Give over.
I'm not kidding. You look.
I don't believe that.
I'm not kidding. You look. 5,000 in a rush for free beer.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm not prepared to.
Anyway, 18 million people have been arrested over some petty pass laws. I know a lot of these pass laws have been taken out through various things, and both has been victimised by militants. Militants, yes.
Oh, no. I'm sorry. It's time.
Tutu begs for sanctions, and he's representing the South African people. Now, I think sanctions would bring forward revolution quicker.
Yeah.
Now, how can we possibly say that we can't introduce sanctions? How can we possibly say we're protecting them when they're
Okay, that's fine. That's Mike Dean and Ashton, who you can hear talking away there. And hello.
Are you going to cut me off here?
Yes, certainly I am.
Hang on.
No.
Hang on a minute.
Mike Dean and Ashton, who, as you can see, is not, in fact, benefiting from his treatment at all. So I suspect we'll just... I'll tell you what we'll do. A further bulletin will be issued on Monday evening between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. And I'm absolutely sure that everything will be resolved to everyone's satisfaction. In the meantime, we must take a commercial break. Is that all right with you, Michael?
Look, I want to do my anthem.
Right, OK, fine. 22 minutes to midnight. We're going to talk to a gentleman, I don't believe this. He's called Gareth Bender in Didsbury in just a moment. But first we must hear from those dreadful pair of people called Wham. Wham and The Edge of Heaven, aren't they? A nice bunch of lads. They're split up now, of course, which makes one wonder what Andrew Ridgeley will do for a living now that George Michael has left him on his own. Not for me to ponder, of course, but for you to reflect on, perhaps, as you while away the... Anyway, never mind all that. A quick break before we go to Mr. Bender. Now, the aforementioned Mr. Bender. Is that really your name?
Yeah.
This has probably caused you quite a lot of difficulty over the years, hasn't it?
It has indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And your surname?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, remember last week you were talking about...
No, just a minute. I want to go into this further. Oops. Didn't mean that. What sort of jokes have people made about your name, Gareth, over the years?
Floppy ones.
Sorry?
Floppy ones.
Floppy jokes?
Yeah.
I see. Hello. It's a good job your name's not Anthony, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yes, please continue.
Right, remember last week you were talking about how to get rid of a doggy muck? Yeah.
Yeah, dog poo.
Yeah.
Actually, a punter from Ardwick, who has written to me before in fairly uncompromising terms, sent me an envelope containing a tablet of soap, advising me that I might use this confection with which to wash out my mouth, because he felt that the language used on that particular programme was worthy of the treatment.
Well,
now,
it's probably Alan Beswick in disguise.
What puzzled me, actually, was that I was unaware that you could buy soap in Ardwick. So whoever it was must have had a day trip out to somewhere more romantic, like Newton Heath or something like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Right, anyway, I've got the definitive method to tackle it.
Dog dirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you do is you get Richard Branson,
Yeah.
then scoop it all up,
Yeah.
fly it over to New York, right, on one of his cheapo flights,
Yeah.
take it to Washington, stuff it up Reagan's arse.
I'm sorry. Oh, President Reagan. Yeah.
Then you get Maggie to lick them out, wrap them up, and give them to the pensioners as their Xmas bonus.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Didsbury do you live?
In Atwood Road.
Atwood Road.
Yeah.
Now, give us a clue. Atwood. Is that off Barlow Moor?
Nearby.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, well, I'll come round later on and put all your orders in.
Just one more thing.
What?
You know stinginess?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I know this person called Bernard. Yeah.
Bernard?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's a worry, but anyway.
Well, of course he is.
He doesn't buy his own toothpaste.
What does he do?
He goes around scrounging off everyone else.
What? Could you lend me a... Does he come round to your kitchen door with his toothbrush and say, excuse me, could you give me a squeeze?
Virtually, he is so stingy.
Oh, dear.
He even cuts his own hair.
Oh, not with one of those things that you send away for. With one of those postal bargains, cut and comb.
He gets the scissors from just normal scissors, and he proceeds to cut his own hair.
Oh, God. Listen, I tell you what, something that I must do one night is people's silliest postal bargains. Because there's one which has caught my attention from time to time, the rotary nose hair trimmer.
Oh,
yeah?
no.
Have you seen it?
No, I haven't
It's
actually.
brilliant. You know, they put in these postal bargain things, they try and sell you them, all these ridiculous things, by, like, there's a thing that you can use for getting the condensation off your windows.
Yeah.
And it goes... like that.
Yeah.
And it says, only £4.95, no wires or batteries needed.
Yeah.
And you think, hey, that's great, no wires or batteries. And then afterwards you think, just a minute, why should it need any wires or batteries? Because obviously it doesn't.
Yeah.
But the nose hair trimmer had all sorts of, little things surrounded by spiky, little drawings round it to make it look like great, And it says, fully portable.
Oh.
Right? Well, obviously it's going to be portable. You're not going to have a wall... You're not going to have a wall-mounted one, are you?
Yeah.
That you have to stand near and put your nostril on top of it and then turn a handle, right? Brilliant. Removes unsightly nasal hair.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll do that at some point in the future, right? Ridiculous postal bargains. Meanwhile, you've become very boring in the last few minutes, so off you go. Larry Lamb in Stockport.
Hello, Jim.
Yes?
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 I'd like to talk to you about Frank's side button, please.
Right.
Well, why isn't he on the switchboard?
Well, he's gone. He got fed up and cleared off.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
Well, I'm rather a fan of his, and that's the only reason I rang up.
So am I. You and me both, Larry.
Yeah.
And I only wish that he'd hung around a bit longer so he could have come into the studio and entertained us with some of his gems. But unfortunately, he must have said, oh, blimey, and he's gone home back to his shed in Timperley.
Yeah, because actually, I've interviewed
Hey, I tell you what, don't I do a brilliant Frank Sidebottom impression?
It's not. I thought he was there for a minute.
Oh, yeah, I know, it's easily done, yeah.
But I've interviewed him, actually.
For
I've
what?
spoken to the man himself.
For what, Old Moore's Almanac?
Well, no, I'm quite a roving reporter myself, so I did an interview with him.
Rambling is the word I'd use.
Rambling.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Now, listen,
What?
a friend of mine was on earlier, called Jack. Do you remember him?
Jack me off.
That's the one.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, I'm a friend of his,
Yeah.
because as you know, I'm actually from Chapel on the Frith, like him.
Oh, God.
So I'd like to give him a mention, if I may.
Well, he's already been on. What are you wasting
Good.
my time for?
I work for him. No, I work for him in Chapel,
Yeah.
with another bloke called Paul Riley.
Yes.
Him a mention as well.
Yes, right.
So I'd like to talk about football as well.
No, as well as what?
Well, as well as Frank.
As well as the Ferodo brake lining company.
Well, listen, there's more to Chapel than Ferodo, you know.
Name it.
Sheep.
Yeah, yes, but outside your leisure time, what is there? And why have you got a lot of giggling women in the background? And more to the point, why haven't I got a lot of giggling women in the background?
Because you work at Piccadilly.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, no, that's the end of that. Dean McDermott in Withenshaw.
Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Yeah, that shadow in the Aztec Stadium is definitely a sound system.
Whoa, don't be boring. Can't you come up with something more imaginative?
No, because it is.
What is it? Couldn't it be some sort of... Well, we've had various suggestions. What?
It's not a spaceship.
It is a spaceship.
It's not a spaceship.
Haven't you ever read any Eric von Daniken?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, clearly then, if it's in Mexico, it must be a spaceship.
Why?
Because that's the way it is.
But it is definitely a sound system, but it doesn't work now.
Oh, well, of course it doesn't, because Mexican engineers are trying to operate it.
Exactly.
Right. So it's a useless sound system suspended in the ideal place, which is directly above the centre spot at a football stadium.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you want for that? Do you expect to win a T-shirt or something?
Yeah, anyway, on to...
Yeah, no, you won't. No, you won't do, right. OK, fine. Thank you very much indeed, Dean McDermott, for that invaluable contribution to the programme. At this juncture, we must take another break. OK, one last attempt to inject some sense into the programme. Dave Carrington in Southport.
Hello.
Hello.
All right, well, I've got a suggestion for starters what that thing is over that stadium.
Yes?
Jimmy Greaves' toupee.
Ah, now, I think we may be getting close to the truth here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what's it doing suspended over the stadium?
Well, have you seen how it's so bald in the studio?
Yeah.
It caught on the coach when he went to Mexico, so I think that's what it's doing there, you know.
Ah, right. Have you noticed, by the way, David, that obviously all the staff of independent television are under instructions to find Jimmy Greaves amusing?
Really?
Have you not noticed this?
No, he's not very amusing, no, is he?
No, he's about as funny as getting Fiery Jack on your hemorrhoids, really. But when every time he opens his mouth, they've been told that because of all the money that they're paying him, oh, God, you won't believe what I've just seen through the studio window. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. They've been told that Jimmy Greaves is funny. He must be, because we're paying him £35,000 every Saturday afternoon.
Not worth it.
So, laugh.
Uh-huh.
So, what's the bald-headed fella called? Brian Moore.
Oh,
says, yeah. He says, and now we'll, of course, during the match, we'll be going over to Jimmy Greaves to see what he's got to say. And Jimmy Greaves says, oh, I'm a bit pissed, actually. And they all go, ah, ha, 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 oh, I don't believe it. Whatever will he come out with next? Apart from an invoice.
Yeah.
I can't believe that the puddled old get is actually being paid to perform like that on television. It's atrocious. When I'm here with my massive talent, grafting away at Piccadilly Radio every night of the week for your delectation for peanuts, I think it's an outrage.
You're a Man City supporter, though, Jim.
What?
You're a Man City supporter, though.
Yeah?
So you're going to be a little bit biased towards your team, aren't you?
What's wrong with that?
Oh, well, I mean, I've got to admit, though, Jimmy Greaves is not biased towards any team.
Well, it's because Jimmy Greaves doesn't know what day it is, that's why, because he's only got about 4 brain cells left.
Naughty.
What?
He's a senile old get who can help that. But I've got to admit, he's unbiased.
He's unbiased because he can't remember the names of any of the football teams in the league.
Brian Moore can.
Oh,
in the World Cup.
Yes, but he doesn't know the names of any of the players. Socrates. What do you think, Brian? Oh, nothing really. I'm just enjoying the game.
Hey, did not get shut up by Mick Shannon the other night.
Fine.
Whoa.
Socrates. Hey? Oh, anyway, you guys shut up, you're boring. Right, OK, very nearly the news time. Rosemary is here already. Good grief, is it 12 o'clock? The time has absolutely flown by. Perhaps that's because I've had far too much to drink. But anyway, before we go up to the news, we must have yet another break.